So I asked you to do these few review questions for helping you get ready for the Regents. So this is an outcrop, which is a layer of exposed bedrock. You can see the different layers. In general, what do we know about this? Where's the oldest rocks? Bottom. Where's the youngest rocks? Is this thing an intrusion or an extrusion?
Intrusion.
How do you know? Because there's contact metamorphism all around it. Let's go with question 24. What evidence in the rock layers indicates the formation of rock F occurred after E? So F after E. Oh, answer A. Sorry. So here's F and there's E.
A.
And the answer is A because there's contact metamorphism between F and E. That means E was there when F touched it and burned it. So now they want to know which one's the oldest out of these choices. We have D, B, F, and A. Out of those four, which one's the oldest? A. Answer D. Letter A. I'll buy that. On the Regents, it will be in nice, neat order. Yeah, that's just because our computer program randomizes the answers. It has no idea what the answers are. It just randomizes it. Number 26, line WX right there. What is that? Nope. It's that wavy dark line. It's not a fault. A fault is a break. Yes, that is really officially called an unconformity, guys. An unconformity is a buried erosional surface. It's always represented by that wavy line. Remember that when there's erosion like that, there's missing information. Whatever was in that rock layer is gone, and we won't know that information.
Yeah, when it's a fault, it goes like
right. When it's a fault, it goes like this, Sarah says. It's when the rock layers break and they no longer line up perfectly. When did the folding of rock layer B most likely occur? To do this question, I think you almost have to read the answers and cross them off if they're wrong. So did B, the folding of B, happen after the deposition of D? No, because D happened. Notice B is folded, D is not. So it didn't happen after D was there. How about before A? Did they get folded before A? No. How do you know it wasn't before A? Okay, that's one reason, but how do we know the folding didn't happen before A? Remember, they're all originally horizontal. So A would have been horizontal. B would have been horizontal. C would have been horizontal originally, and then they get folded after they're there. So it couldn't be before A because then none of them would be folded. Did it happen after the deposition of C?
Yeah.
It definitely could have, but I do recommend reading D to make sure it's not right. After the deposition of E?
Yeah,
No, yep, that's not it.
That's not it.
And fossils are least likely. F, which is answer C, yes. Why, by the way, are they not found in layer F? Because it's igneous and the fossils would have gotten ruined. Awesome sauce. There we go. No again? All right, let's start here with the wet and dry bulb on the top.
4.
It is answer 4. Does anyone need me to go through that?
Oh.
How about the fact that there was no, let me actually just remind you, because I am seeing some people change some answers. So first of all, we had to use the relative humidity chart. And you need to use the difference. The difference between 20 and 25 is 5. But there is no 25. So what do we do? Yep. So when you go down, you see that 24 is a relative humidity of 20 or 62. And 26 has a relative humidity of 64. So 25, which is halfway in between those, must be 63. Did your paper actually show Red Creek here?
Yeah.
So it is right here in case you can't see it. The answer is 3, but tell me,
It points from where it came from.
so remember where the contour lines bend, like right there, point to where it came from. They open in the direction it's going. So that V is opening, going down the paper, which please always double check that the compass is the way you expect it to be. So if north is this way, south is straight down, but we're over to the southwest a little bit. How about what's the gradient from A to B? So here, A, there's B. You should have realized that A is 250, B is 300, so that's a difference of 50. And then when you use your scrap paper to figure out how far apart they are, they're 2 miles apart, which gives you 25 feet per mile. What did you put as your answer? Yep.
But
So,
because it's restricted
yeah.
A from B and measures it. Divide that by 250, divide by 250.
But it's not 100. A to B is 50.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys, enough back there.
Wrote it down right now.
How about the possible elevation of the surface of Dairy Lynn Lake?
Darien Lake.
Not Darien Lake. This is Dairy Lynn Lake. No, I have no idea. So how did you know it's 242?
Well, it's not 250. Everything inside of 250 is bigger, so everything else.
And snow contour.
Okay, so there's 2 things you got to look at. So right here is the 250 line. Is Dairy Lynn Lake higher or lower than 250? Okay, because if it was higher, what would happen? It would kind of spill out. Yeah, it would overflow. So we know that this is lower. Plus, you also know it's higher because when you went this way, the numbers went up. So you know that this is lower than 250.
Oh, yeah.
So there was only 2 choices that were lower. How did we know it wasn't 228?
Too low.
That's too low. There would have been more lines. There would have been a 240. There would have been a 230 line. They're not there. So that means there's nowhere on this map that's 240.
Dairy Lynn Lake.
Yeah, Dairy Lynn Lake.
Darien Lake.
Do you think it's lake? I'm not sure. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. How about the dew point here? How do you know? Okay, 100% cloudy and it's raining.
That's the default.
Yep. So honestly, I would have thought they would have been the same, but there was none that were exactly the same. So when there's 100% clouds and this dot tells you it's raining, that means the relative humidity is 100%, which would mean the temperature and dew point are either together or really close. How about this one? What'd you get for an answer here? It is answer 3.
I went and found where 1140 was, and then all of that up to the S wave, followed that over, got, what was it, like 2120, and then subtracted 20.
Well, that was a lot of work. You didn't have to do all of that. So when we figure out that the earthquake P wave took 11 minutes and 40 seconds, that means this is where the earthquake is, which is approximately 8,500 kilometers away. But they want to know how much later will the S wave get there. Sarah's wave worked, but this would have done the subtracting part for you if you would have marked off. So this is when the P wave gets there. They want to know how many minutes later this one gets there. So we could have just done those 2 marks and come over and saw that it was 9 minutes and 40 seconds. But your way worked. So, right. And then I did mention yesterday or the day before that you need to know all the weather instruments. 2, wind speed is measured with an anemometer, wind direction, a wind vane. And again, I don't think you'll ever have to spell that. Let's get cahootin'. If you do not have an electronic device, you can partner up with someone or you're welcome to partner up anyway. You will need a reference table.
That's the Kahoot song.
It's my favorite song in the world.
Sing me your favorite song. Stop, Felicia.
What?
What are you doing?
Yep, this is taking forever.
I know that.
Ask me how many times in my life I've gotten my nails done. Probably 4. My wedding, my prom, my cousin's wedding, and maybe one more time just for fun. Destiny, do you mind just putting your bag down on the chair? I'm pretty sure it's right in Keith and Damien's vision. If not, it's right in mine. Well, it was right in mine of them, so thanks.
I love getting my nails done. It's been really like soft and things like punches.
I've actually never had fake nails put on. Oh no, I did my own wedding. And I took them off on my honeymoon because I couldn't stand it. I am not filling out paperwork.
Oh no.
They're a whole week old. They're not even a week old. Mine are free. All right, is everybody in who wants to be in? All right, everybody's in that wants to be in? Now? What would most likely reduce the amount of runoff at location B? I believe you have the picture on your screen. So reduce the amount of runoff. Reduce. That means less. This was an exact test question. Sure. Did I? Can I not? You don't like the sound of my voice that much? Great job. So if the ground was saturated, that means more water couldn't go in, so you'd end up with more runoff then. There's been a request for me not to speak, so read your own questions, I guess. I'm obsolete. I was told not to read them out. You have them on your own electronic devices. I can't do this, Sarah. I have to read them. I should read them. Yeah, I'm reading them from now on. Why does Riverhead's over in Long Island, FYI? Riverhead has a smaller temperature range because...
Oh, I already knew this one.
You should. Once you realize where Riverhead is, you should be able to answer this one. All right. So Riverhead is, yes, it's at a slightly lower latitude, but not much. But the fact that it's surrounded by water, a large body of water, means it'll have slightly warmer winters, slightly cooler summers, smaller temperature range.
Oh,
wow.
What? I literally got that right.
Not as, yeah, because you had to read it yourself. This guy, by the way, is an asteroid. So Ceres, I think is how it's pronounced. I don't know. 414 million kilometers from the sun. The period of revolution of Ceres. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. So use the information you have available to you on page 15 of your reference table.
Oh, I know.
use page 15. You should be able to figure it out. 414 million kilometers from the sun. Page 15 of your reference table.
Or I'll go with that. Sure.
Maybe you should be reviewing instead of snacking.
I don't know, I'm paying attention.
Did you try it?
Yeah, it was
What's the answer to this question? I mean,
bro.
Yellow.
Yeah, I think, no, that's right, go and pick this one.
yellow.
4.6 years.
Wait, where's your actually?
Fire is wood.
Guess not. I should have used my reference table. So let's look this one up. So 414 million miles from the sun. Page 15 of your reference table puts this in order. So that shows you, yeah, you are between Mars and Jupiter in this case. And you should also notice that the period of revolution as you get farther from the sun gets longer. So it's only 88 days at Mercury, 224 days at Venus, 365 days for us, 687 for Mars. They go in order. So the period of revolution of this thing, which is between Mars and Jupiter, will be between Mars and Jupiter's time. So Mars is 687 days. Jupiter is 11.9 years. So the only answer that falls in between those is the 4.6 years.
Bring them on the podium.
Hold on, too.
Oh, good.
Wow, guys, this is like a hot mess. Which two geological processes most likely created this landscape region? So the key is to look at the picture and what do you see going on with those rocks? Those rocks have some very defined features.
What's that?
I'll go with this one.
Back. Oh, you got my team, but you haven't done checks.
No, he's paying attention.
Yeah, I got that one wrong.
All right. So just to show you that picture, what do you notice about these rock layers? They're curved. They're all folded. So folding made that look like that.
That's not fair, because they have two.
On April 21st, the altitude of Polaris in New York State was 41.3. What will the altitude be on May 21st?
Whoa.
I love throwing my nose right. No, what?
I'm horrified by that comment. Guys, remember, altitude of Polaris never changes. It's equal to your latitude. It was a trick question. Average stream velocity is controlled by?
Ice trick.
It's literally down. It's like
11, 12.
This was 11.
Guys, stream velocity is controlled by the slope.
Oh my God.
Unconformities at A, B, and C, D resulted from. In other words, unconformities are formed by. It's supposed to be better today. Okay, unconformities are formed by they're buried erosional surfaces. So we need the one that talks about erosion. Oh, did she just join? The downward movement of water from A. Now, guys, this was a test question. We're talking about down, like soaking in. Downward movement will be greatest when. Okay, you guys did better on it than you did on the test, I remember. So if it's porous, it means it can soak in, and it'll soak in best when we have large particles.
Oh yeah, look at me moving up.
Changes in life forms in fossil records from less complex to more complex is explained by.
See, 20%.
I'm sorry, but it also helps other people. So
Yeah, but how do I know?
What?
yes, it's evolution. Evolution has us going from less to more complex. Which diagram represents the relative size and color of Polaris compared to our sun? So is Polaris smaller or larger? And its color. Just go, is it large or small, and what's its color?
No fact, I got it wrong.
So Polaris is larger than our sun. We know that because the smaller stars are on the bottom of page 15 and they get bigger as you go up. Color is determined by the temperature, and Polaris is firmly in the yellow color.
How was she still in first?
Which motion causes the observer to see different constellations on July 7th compared to January 3rd? This is a classic Regents question. They love this stuff. Oh. So a whole bunch of you picked rotation. Guys, rotation. How long does it take the Earth to rotate? A day.
Yeah.
So will that cause us to see different things in July and January because we rotate? If this said what causes the observer to see the constellations in different locations from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. the next morning, that would have been rotation. But because we're talking about going from 1 month to almost 6 months later, that's going to be because the Earth has moved positions. We have revolved. Yep, that is what they counted on you doing, is not thinking about the dates. What is the largest type of sediment that could be transported at location B? So you got to see how fast the water is moving at B.
Yes.
Really? So B is moving 110 centimeters. B is moving 110 centimeters per second. So you go to your reference table, page, okay, it's not opening, but page 6, you find 110 centimeters per second, which is right past 100. You go up and you go over. This is in the Pebbles section. I did not see the answers. Yep, that would be Pebbles. 110 is right after 100. It's not all the way over to the 110 is basically 100 because the next line over is 200. Even the 200 would have been the very top of Pebbles. It would not have been Cobbles. I guess we can be done there.
Yes.